Welcome back, new employees. It seems that if you found this tape, you probably have already leveled up, possibly to level 2. So, why don't we just get this starting? Let's go through some couple of things before we actually start. First is, what is a clap-off counter? And a clap-off counter is a counter that some abnormalities have and can be a number. And this number will decrease if specific conditions are done. And this number can range from 1 to 5. And if the Clyde counter reaches 0, something bad will happen with the abnormality, but mainly they'll just breach. Now, what is a Klepoff meltdown? A meltdown is where too much work is done on abnormalities, which causes the counter to malfunction, where it'll attempt to free a couple abnormalities, and this can be resolved by working on those. And punishments for neglecting are loss of PE boxes and mass breaching. So we're gonna do the TETH level class. They're much more dangerous than the Zayn, but they shouldn't be prioritized much. But you still say attentive to these things, just in case. First, we have R-02-52, also known as Stan. Also, yes, this unique number is going to be repeated a lot, not just 52, any other number. The clock counter will start at 2 and will decrease under the following conditions. Normal workers perform, bad workers perform, and when it breaches, they'll just call around the facility dealing small amounts of red damage. Suppress it on the site. Crawls on 4 legs and considers as animalistic? Yeesh. Next, we have R-08-19, also known as Golbo, and the Cloudbus counter will start at 3 and will decrease on the following conditions. Decreases by 2 if instinct was performed, and decreases by 1 if repression and bad work is performed. And when it reaches 0, the abnormality will breach and will lay lifeless on the floor. An employee must pick it up, put it back in its containment unit, and when it's fulfilled, they'll get a boost in prudence and justice for a while. Now, although it is weak to every single damage type, please don't attack it, because you will take white damage corresponding to how much damage you deal, which will cause you to panic, possibly. And if you're carrying it and you work on another abnormality, you will panic and this abnormality will be unworkable for the rest of the day. I recommend just sticking to attachment. Next we have T-05-51, also known as Bloodbath, and this abnormality is no clap with counter deplete. And when an employee of level 1 Fortitude or Temperance enters the containment unit and completes work with it, pale hands will come out and drag the employee to their doom. And if 3 pale hands, and yes, this was called as a pale hand to float to the top, and the 3 pale hands are at the top of the bath, the next employee to walk in will die, regardless of stats. We'll probably have these stats raised, so you can work on this as much as you like. But if you don't, you should probably get it raised. If one has no eyelashes or legs, if you know, you know. Next we have O-04-37, that's another repeated number, also known as Birch Tree. This abnormality is no clap is counter to deplete, and if players level 1 Prudence works with this abnormality, their head will explode. And this will also apply if you do repression work with level 2 or lower Justice. I recommend working attachment or insight. And much like Bloodbath, you probably had your Prudence stat raised, so you can work on this as much as you like. Next is O-03-60, also known as Fragment of the Universe. The collapse counter started to and will decrease some of the following conditions. Normal work is performed, bad work is performed, and if employee panics during work. And where it breaches, it'll just sing a song dealing white damage, and its melee attack will deal black damage. Nothing interesting, just suppress it. I recommend working attachment. Next we have R-06-78, also known as Tango Mangles. This abnormality is no collapse counter deplete, and if you get a bad work result, you will die. However, this is actually more difficult than Welch years because you have to be at least level 3 Fortitude or Justice to actually make any good progress. Because if you're anything lower, they'll just decide if they want to kill you, which most of the time they will. So be careful of that. Next we have O-02-39, also known as Maxwell. This abnormality is no clapbox to counter deplete, and this one's just pretty shallow. No management tips, much like Retro Brick. It's just an attachment trainer, just be aware of its high pale damage. I recommend working attachment. Next we have T-02-43, also known as Spider Bud. So when I said that if you violate any rule, you'll be sent to the spiders, this is what I'm talking about. If a employee is level 1 prudence or doing inside work will enter the containment unit, the cocoon will come from above and encase the employee. Uh, and that cocoon will be added to the containment unit. More cocoons inside, the more PE boxes are generated. So yeah, this is for the lackluster employees and those who violate. This is one of two abnormalities that don't have a good work result. Fun fact. The other one is, I don't want to talk about it. Next, we have T-06-27, also known as 1.76 megahertz. The Kappa started form will fluctuate under the following conditions. This is when normal bad work, or if employee panics during work. It increases if good work is performed, increases by 2 if 12 PE boxes are produced, and higher fortitude is equal to smaller chance to actually get more PE boxes. And when it reaches zero, radiostatic will fill the hallways, and employee gets exposed to it, will receive small amounts of white damage gradually. And the radiostatic will slowly spread across the facility. The only way to stop it is to just put it back to 4. I recommend ripping repression. Next we have T-01-54, also known as Forsaken Murderer. Wait, isn't this just a human? Ah, whatever. The Klepos counter will start at 1 and will decrease under the following conditions. Bad work is performed. And when it reaches 0, it'll just basically it's just a stand. Not like the other kind, I meant the abnormality, where it just slams its metal head, dealing red damage. But also wind up and dealing high red damage and stunning nearby employees. Just suppress it, it's really not that interesting. I recommend just sticking with instinct. Next we have O-02-56, also known as Punishing Bird. The cloud bus can restart at 4 and agrees on the following conditions. Other abnormalities are being worked on, or if when an employee panics during work, which will like never happen because it deals red damage and containment instead of white. And when it breaches, inspect the nearest employee with minimal damage. Do not attempt to suppress it though, because it'll cause it to turn red and deal very high red damage. And it will return after its contaminated after a while, or if a panic returns to normal. I recommend just blocking its pecs as it's a quicker way. Also, keep in mind that abnormalities attack each other when they breach, so be careful of that. I recommend working Insight, even though this is a TETH abnormality. And if you ask a higher level employee what's the most breaching abnormality, it'd be this one. Next we have O-01-51, also known as DVD Man. The Kalpathon started 2 and decreased on the following conditions. Decreases by 1 bad work is performed, and increases by 1 when good work is performed. And decreases by 1 if employee level 1 prudence or temperance enters the continue. And when it breaches, it'll breach around and jump around slicing its DVD. It's difficult to parry because of its sporadic movements, but it also deals pale damage. And it deals like 10 to 15. Yes, I'm putting actual numbers into this. So pale damage is very scary due to how much damage it could be devastating for the facility, especially if it's only 1 to 3 abnormalities. One of them being Maxwell, this one, and O-02-62, which you won't see until like level 4. I recommend working Instinct or Repression. Next is O-02-32, also known as Deep Sea Bunny, and the counter will start at 5, fluctuating on the following condition. Increase by 1 doing insight work, and decrease by 1 the dirtiness of the tank was in stage 4 every minute. On a good attachment work, the employee repeated the abnormality, gaining 8 SP. But when the tank's dirty, the work chances dwindle, and more damage was done to the employee. Just clean it using insight, and when it reaches 0, a landmine will be placed at the door, killing anything that walks in and out of the containment unit. So just keep this thing at bay, won't you? Next, we have T-04-382, also known as Under the Streetlight. The Clypath counter will start at 2 and will decrease on the following conditions. Bad work is performed. An employee with temperance level 1 works on it. So when the Clypath counter reaches 0, nothing will originally happen until the employee enters it. And if a level 2 or lower employee works on this abnormality, a light will shine, and they will be engulfed in the light, and they will be considered dead. But if a level 3 employee or above enters it, they will take damage because the bulb explodes, and specifically red damage. I recommend working Insight. Next, we have D-04-38, also known as Giggler. This abnormality don't clap with counter deplete, and D-0438 will give the employee an ego gift that will vary with the work type. And each gift will provide different benefits, but I'm not going to go in full into that. But when an ordeal or Klapoth meltdown happens, an ordeal, I'll go to that much, much later. It will become hostile and deal high damage, specifically high black damage, and will lower work chances. This can be spotted by the abnormality's eyes widening, mouth thinning, and bright color, as you can see in this change. We got Exhibit A and Exhibit B. I recommend working attachment. Next we have T-04-242, also known as blissful ignorance. Again, this has no cloud counter, and when good work is performed, you will gain some HP and SP. However, if an employee works on this amount 3 times in a row of a span of clay path meltdown, they will lay on the grass, on bed, and become a flower, and be considered dead. However, this will like barely ever happen because you're probably gonna be worried trying to work on other stronger abnormalities. And when this happens, the HP and SP and PE box gain increase by 5% temporarily. You must profit off this. I know it's inhumane, but profit off this. This is actually a small buff. Uh, if only clerks can go into this unit. Next, we'll move on to the tools. Test tools are a prime example of why tool abnormality is so bad. Starting with this one, O-09-96, also known as behavior adjustment. And employees that use it will get an increase in justice, but decrease in prudence. And if you turn in less than 30 seconds or have your SP brought to 0, you will die. I'm gonna go through all these tool abnormalities really quickly because they're kind of boring. Start one of them being O-09-95, also known as luminous bracelet, also known as the epitome of bad tools. And employees that wear will gain higher fortitude and constantly recover HP. But if a damaged employee is wearing it, and if they return it, they will die. And same thing will apply if you haven't taken damage for a while. Taking damage will reset it. It's just not that good. Next, we have O-05-33, also known as Gamnancer. Employees that use it will cause a 5% increase to the quota or random abnormality will breach, and after every successful use, the overload percentage will go up every 5%, starting at 49, maxing out 95. And if the furnace overloads, the employee will die and the percentage resets. Oh, and please ignore, a naughty employee must have hijacked this. And it's a funny gambling joke, but please don't work on this thing, it's just gambling. Next we have T-09-09, also as Theresa. So base Theresia. Why did I butcher that? And they will gain and employees that listen to it will gain SP, but if you listen to it for 20 to 30 seconds, they'll rapidly lose SP and begin to panic. Also, the gaining SP thing will also apply to the entire department, but the only and same will apply to the actual employee. This is just an abnormality that's just a easy way to go insane, so just don't listen to it. And finally, we have R-09-300, also known as the Cytherian Hex Dagger. Basically, if you deal over half the target's health that you're fighting, then they will mark the target with Hex, and when they die, they'll spawn as a TETH ally for around a minute. Employees using this tool took more damage, had their damage and walk speed reduced, and when an employee using this tool is attacking any marked targets, they'll deal 5% of their SP as white damage. Uh, That's it. See you next time when you level up. See you, employees. You're growing every day.